Hey, what's going on everyone? This is Mike Kollin at MikeKollin.com. Okay, so I have been a busy body the last probably 2 weeks now. Now when I say busybody, I mean I've been busy getting stuff done. Mostly I've been learning and going over a lot of NLP, reading books, going over audio tapes from back in the 90s, etc. So just going through all of it, and I'm in a really motivated place right now. So one thing I want to say, I have been holding back for a long time now. Okay, there's this technique I did. It's I'm not even going to try to describe it. It takes too long to describe it. There's this technique I did about 2 weeks ago. Basically what it does, it brings your motivation strategy together and it kind of compresses it, and when you go through it, it causes this, man, I don't know, I'm going to put it this way, a very intense motivation that just won't go away. That's where I've been at with that. Sorry, that's where I've been at for the last 2 weeks. So let's get right to it. So I was watching a couple videos over the last day or two, and there's a video I saw today, and I'm trying to think which one I should start with. Okay, so this person's an NLP trainer, great person. I don't know him personally, but I really like what he does, what he's teaching, etc. And there's one thing I noticed. He was talking about money, making money, and he was talking about issues that he's had in his life. And as I'm listening, I'm like, oh, that's pure narcissist abuse, though. That's pure trauma from narcissism. So what he's talking about is, I forget how he titled it, but something about overcoming limitations or limiting beliefs so you can make more money, etc., etc. And the thing about it is everything he was describing, he had no clue, was like, that's absolutely directly from narcissist abuse. Because if you've been through it, you hear it in another person and you're like, oh, they don't even know. And so a lot of times online, if I'm watching a YouTube video, I'm like, you're perfectly describing narcissist abuse. You need to learn about it, and here's why. It will come back. So I'm going to bring up a technique which I've essentially brought up in the last 2 videos, but I'm going to kind of skew it in a slightly different way about money. And here's the thing is, like, yeah, we can shift. Okay, how do I see this? Hold on. Okay, so one of the reasons why I'm motivated about making this video is because after watching his video and having that realization, number one, people can change. The thing is, a lot of you, look, we have been conditioned by the old way, the old psychology, and oh, it's, years and years of therapy. No, you can change in 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sessions. You will change, shift. It's not like you're going over the same issue for 10, 20, 30 sessions in a row for 5 weeks, 6 months, etc. Alright, there was another one that popped up on my YouTube channel, and it was a lady, young lady, probably about 30, 28, 30, something like that. And it was like a 28-second video, I think basically advertising her service. So she's a psychotherapist, psychologist. She goes, I want to let you know one thing. When you go to a psychologist, you act like you don't have any problems, but we know you have problems. And I'm kind of looking at her like, what? So she was saying something to the effect of, when you try to hide it from us, we can see it. And I'm like, why would someone hide that they have problems? I mean, that's the whole reason why they're there. Where it's kind of like with me, it's like if you got something wrong with your engine, it's like, okay, well, what's going on? It's like, well, it's something right here. It's making a certain noise. Like, okay, well, let's figure it out and let's fix it. And let's get you back into life. God, what am I trying to say? Number one, I'm going to kind of repeat the title. Okay, so I think this is the title I'm going to use, so I don't know which I'm going to put it, but it's, let's see let me read it directly. So, smash through what's holding you back from happiness, love, and money. The other title I might put on is smash through limiting beliefs into money, prosperity, and success. Now here's the second part of that, okay? The second part is a lot of you don't believe, you don't know that you can absolutely radically shift your life. And when you start working with me, you're going to be like, man, that was so freaking easy. Because you start to, see, here's what it is. The old way, the psychology way, they don't really know what they're doing. It's all about philosophies, theories, beliefs. It's kind of like listening to Neil Tyson deGrasse. Now I know, because I can't tell you how many classes I've been in. Like, well, the theory is, well, the opinion is, what we believe is. I'm like, I don't care what you believe. I want to know, how do we help people to change? And that's NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, Ericksonian hypnosis, and energy healing, all of which I do. Now I'm going to give you another example that I shared in the last 2 videos, because it's like, when you do this and you're like, man, that's yep, that's all you had to do. It's just a shift. The way your brain stores information is very much like filing cabinets. Now what I'm sharing with you right now is 1 page of multiple manuals, okay? There's a lot to learn in NLP. It takes years and years and years and years and years of dedicated commitment and study. And I mean, we're talking 10 plus years. Like, you have to get really, really good at this stuff. But here's the really cool thing. The techniques are actually very simple. The challenge is figuring out, okay, so what's wrong with this person? What's not working, and why is it not working? And then finding the right techniques that apply to it. Now, either in the last video, or the video before that, before this video, I talked about basically what we call shifting submodalities. I don't know if I named it that. I call it categories, and I forget what it's called, but it's basically where you store locations. Where you store images in what location. These are like your filing cabinets. This is how you access information. And sometimes they get kind of screwed up. In other words, beliefs, conflicting beliefs, limiting beliefs can get mixed in with those, and all of a sudden now you have this limiting belief about all these experiences, and all of a sudden you can't access them because you have a belief like, well, you can access them, but like, well, I can't do that because, and here's that limiting belief. Or it could be a negative emotion, an intense negative emotion attached to it, and we can shift all of this. And when you shift it, all of a sudden everything clears up, the door opens up, and you can walk right on through. To happiness, to love, to success, to money. So one of the things, okay, maybe, yeah, I think I want to focus this on money. I think that's probably, because I can apply this to relationships. There are a lot of times, okay, let me give you this before I go to money. I'm going to give you 2 things that is very simple to learn, but is extremely effective and powerful, and it will have a massive effect on your relationships with people. And other than emotional fulfillment, what I teach in my course, the internal awareness course, these 2 things are the 2 top things that make people get divorced. If you don't know this, you're screwed. It's completely unconscious. It's outside of your awareness unless you learn it from someone like me. So the first one's called the predicate system. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to get out a piece of paper and a pen, okay, something to write with, okay? At the very top, I want you to write predicates, or the predicate system. So if you haven't already, go ahead and pause this video and get the pen and paper. Okay, so I'm going to assume that you're back. So here's what you're going to put on the left side. It kind of tall, I'd say about 1 inch tall or taller. On the left side, I want you to write a big V, okay? And below it, about, I would say at least 1.5 inches below it, maybe 2 inches, write the letter A, okay? There's going to be 4 of them, so make it equal going down. So there's V, and then put an A beneath that. And then, now I want you to draw like a hash line next to it, to the right of it, okay? And A, so V, A, and then K, and then below that, AD, okay? A, capital A, and then small d. Now I don't want you to do it the way I did. I want you to do it on the left side of the paper, going from top to bottom, okay? So at the top left will be V. Well, above that, obviously in the center of the paper, it's going to say predicate or predicate system. And then beneath that, it's going to say V on the far left, and then down A, then K, then AD. So the V stands for visual, okay? You can write that next to that word. Or, sorry, next to that letter V, okay? And then A stands for auditory. K stands for kinesthetic. Now, the last one is AD, is auditory digital, okay? Now, next to visual, I want you to write see, picture, look, that looks right, bright, and shiny, okay? So what would they say? See, look, and throw in this word in there too, picture, if I didn't already say it. See, look, picture, bright, shiny, and visual, and whatever else I said, okay? Now there are hundreds of words that go to these predicates, okay? It's not just these words. There's a lot of visual predicates, a lot of visual words. Next to auditory, put listen, hear, sound, talk, tell me, that sounds right, that rings a bell. Next to kinesthetic, put touch, feel, get a hold of, I've got it, I've got a good feeling about this person, that guy rubs me wrong, I get what you're saying, write that down too. And then auditory digital, that's the logical part of your brain. That's the computer part. So you can write logical, computer. That makes sense. That's logical. The word think, let me think about it. I think, okay? So just the word think and any kind of whatever you know, I think and let me think about it and what I think is, etc., stuff like that. So this part of your brain, you're in your computer thinking brain. This is when you're thinking. You're very analytical. That's another word, analytical or analyze. So people, when they're in that part of the brain, they use the word think, let me think about it. That makes sense. Those are the two main ones they use all the time. Like, yeah, let me think about it. Or when I think about it, that makes sense. They use those two phrases a lot. Now, the word predicate is a big word. Don't worry about it. It literally just means visual, auditory, kinesthetic, auditory, digital. Because that word predicate kind of screwed me up for over a year. I'm like, well, what's a predicate? Like, I didn't get it. It's just visual words, auditory words, kinesthetic words, and then auditory digital words. Okay, so technically the predicate system means the visual system, the auditory system, the kinesthetic system, and the auditory digital system. At the time when they named it, I don't think they really knew what to use, so they just used the word predicate. I really don't know why, but that word it's a big word that it really, I don't know, maybe it's probably, I don't know, there's probably not a simpler way. So what I want you to do is just kind of push that aside, because that doesn't really mean anything. In other words, don't worry about it if it makes you think like, oh, big words, because it's big words. Here's how simple this system is. Now, when I teach this, it'll take me about an hour to teach this whole thing, but I'm going to kind of give you the shorter version, okay? All we're doing here is using people's predicate system. Visual, auditory, kinesthetic, auditory, digital. So when someone is in the visual part of their brain where they're saying, look, I'm trying to show you something. Now I'm pointing to my eye right now. Those are all visual words. Look, I'm trying to show you the picture. Again, picture, visual. So when you're in your visual communication system, you use visual predicates or visual words. Now the auditory people will say like, yes, let me talk to you. Now I'm pointing to my ear right now. They'll say like, do you hear, pointing to my ear, what I'm saying? Again, pointing to my ear. Tell me, talk to me, pointing to my ear. You can hear these words because this is the auditory system. Look, or they'll say, hey man, just talk to me. And a kinesthetic guy or person's going to be like, I just don't get it. I'm not getting what you're saying. Like, I don't have any connection. I'm not feeling it right now. I'm not getting it, right? So they're going to use touch and feel, like, man, that guy just rubs me wrong. There's something about him. Or here's another one. I have a good feeling about that person. These are just all touch and feel ways of communicating and expressing through the kinesthetic predicate system or language. These are, by the way, these are all languages. This is the visual language, the auditory language, the kinesthetic language, and the auditory digital language. When I say language, I literally mean these are 4 unconscious or subconscious languages. If you do not speak someone's language, it's going to make it very hard for them to understand you. It's going to make it very hard for them to see what you're saying. Okay, and for the people that are kinesthetic, they're going to have a hard time getting whatever you're trying to tell them. So here's what I tell people. Just grab 3 or 4 words in each of those systems, write it on a 3x5 card and carry it around with you. Like, what my weakest one was auditory digital. Like, I never used that. So when I would write down, think, that makes sense, that's logical. I just took those 3, and whenever someone like, dude, are you like does this make any sense to you? And I'd look at them like, yeah, it makes sense. Like, okay, good. Because before it's like, man, I'm not getting what you're saying. Like, what do you mean? And they would just get pissed off. I remember I was out in Pennsylvania. I was taking a 5-week training out there, NLP training. And I went out to dinner one night by myself. I was really tired, just wanted to get something quick and go to bed. And it was kind of like this outside bar, like, I don't know, it was almost like the kind of the beach, but it wasn't a beach. But it was really kind of classy. It was really nice. So I sat at the bar, ordered dinner. I'm eating. Some guy sat right now, and it turned out he was a professor at the university. Very logical. Well, here I am, this kinesthetic guy. I just was chilling out, relaxing and stuff. And he starts getting pissed, and he finally yells at me. He goes, I can't stand it when people talk like that. I go, talk like what? Well, apparently I used the phrase, like, I get it, or something like that. And I'm like, what did I say? And then I listened to his words. And he's like, that just doesn't make sense when people, talk that way. It's just not logical. I'm like, oh, yeah, you're right. That doesn't make sense when people talk like that. It's not logical at all, blah, 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 blah. And all I did was I made some stuff up that made no sense at all. And I just used this predicate system. And all of a sudden he looks at me and goes, you're a really smart guy. And I'm thinking, what? Now, here's the interesting thing. Right after that, we ended up talking, and I got a piece of paper from the bartender, whoever it was, and a pen, and I taught him this predicate system. He's like, man, I didn't even know. I go, yeah, the reason why you get mad at me is because I used two words from the kinesthetic system, and you don't like that system because you don't use it at all. And he's like, you know what, you're right. He goes, I got really pissed off when I heard you talk like that. So here's the deal. You can absolutely match someone's predicate system just by using 2 or 3 words in their system and just keep repeating them. And all of a sudden, they're going to look at you like, and you'll even hear people say, man, you're just like me, or you're one of us. So you'll hear a group of people say, man, you're one of us. And it's simply because you're speaking their language. You're showing them that you can see the way they see, or hear the way they hear, or talk the way they talk, or get things the way they get it, and or think the way that they think. And when you are on the same page, you have rapport, and not only that, but it adds clarity. Because not only that, but you're connecting on the same level, you're literally going down the same line. If you're in sales, you have to learn this, or you will lose 75% plus of the people coming to you simply because you're not speaking their language. If you're married, you have to learn this in depth. It's not a very long course for this. It takes about an hour to an hour and a half. And the second part is deep love strategy. Now, here's the deal. Do you remember when you were kids and your mom had like a can of corn and maybe cooked and left a couple cans aside? And what you did, you cleaned them out, and then you poked a hole at the other end that was sealed still. And then you put a string, like could it be a fishing string or some kind of string in there, and you tied a couple knots so it didn't come through the hole, and then you did it to the other can, and then you would pull them apart. So here you are about 40 feet apart from your friends, and you're speaking through it, and you can hear each other clearly, almost like a walkie-talkie. When we were kids, we actually did this with our friend Billy. Now his house was on the side of our house, so it was kind of weird because that's where our backyard was, even though technically that wasn't the back of the house. So he had his backyard next to ours, so it was about 40, maybe a little bit further away, about 40 feet, maybe 50. So my brothers, what happened at nighttime, we'd go, hey, Billy, you awake? And he'd open, because we were on the second floor, right? And we were at the same end of the house as he was. And he'd pull up his windows, but our parents would hear us yelling at each other, God damn it, go to sleep, you got school in the morning, so they get pissed. So what happened was, my brothers got really smart, and they learned this in Boy Scouts, okay? And they got 2 cans, and they did the string thing, and they threw one up in Billy's window, connected to the string, and then they threw one up in our window, the boys' room, and at nighttime, they would talk to each other through this can. All they had to do was kind of pull it snugly tight, and that's, essentially all you had to do, and the voice would go right through, and you could hear it clearly. Now imagine this. Imagine you are on a lawn or big room that's at least 40, 50 feet long, And you have 4 of these. Now, at the top is going to be visual, 2 cans that are connected with a string. And then beneath that, about a foot and a half down, would be auditory digital. And then beneath that, a foot and a half, auditory. And then beneath that would be about a foot and a half kinesthetic, 2 cans, okay? And then at the very bottom, say down by your knees or somewhere down there, would be 2 cans that connected with a string and they're auditory digital. So let's say someone is up at the visual one at the very top, so that's about 5 or 6 feet tall, and they have their ear listening into that. And you go down to, say, the kinesthetic one, which is around their waist area, and you're like, hey man, can you feel me? Do you get what I'm saying? And they're up here going, wait, what are you saying? Because it's down there. They don't have their ear next to that. So now they're like, what are you saying? So you say it louder and louder, and they're like, I can't see what you're saying, man. Show me. I'm not getting any pictures. So they're obviously up the predicate system, the visual predicate system, and you're down there, and it causes them to strain and strain and strain, and after a while, they're going to get really pissed off. And what they'll do is they'll start screaming visual predicates at you, like, look, you need to show me what you mean. I can't see what you're saying. And they'll do all this visual stuff. And all you have to do is go, oh, what I'm trying to show you is, so now you stand up and you put your mouth next to the visual can. So when you're speaking their predicate system, now they can hear you clearly because you're using the same system. For you visual people, do you see what I mean? Believe it or not, but people get divorced over this one simple thing all the time, because after years and years, he's speaking the visual system, she's speaking the kinesthetic system or auditory system, and you just get, and like you will see, I'm not kidding, multi-million-dollar deals go down the tubes because this guy's up here going, look, I'm trying to show you how this is going to work. And see, visual, look and show, right? Visual. And then the auditor's kind of like, look, man, or he'll go, hey, man, just talk to me. I can't even hear what you're saying. Just talk to me like a normal person, a normal human being. And the visual guys go, talk to you? What are you talking? Like, look, man, I'm trying to show you. And they get madder and madder. Like, you know what? Screw you. And here's the thing: they can agree on all 10 points of the contract, but because they're communicating in different predicates, they don't even understand each other. And the multi-million-dollar deal goes down the tube simply because they're not speaking the same language. When I mean same language, these are literally languages. Extremely simple to use and very, very effective and extremely powerful in business, sales, love, romance, life. A lot of times you are just stuck in life and you don't even know why. And sometimes it's something as simple as learning the predicate system, not even knowing that this exists. You're like, I don't understand. Like, why don't they understand me? And your whole life, because you're in this music industry where they're auditory and you're in auditory digital, and they're just like, man, you're never going to make it in this business. And all you have to do is shift your languaging. And it's a really simple thing to do. You literally just pepper in words like hear, say, talk, see, show, look, get a hold of that, like I have a strong feeling for what you mean, like that makes sense. It's like you just pepper them in. This one little skill can open up an entire venue or avenue for you that will take you as far as you want to go. Now, a very similar system is the deep love strategy. It's visual, auditory, kinesthetic. If they receive love, now when I say love, I don't mean emotional, fulfilling communication. That's a much deeper aspect that leads into romantic, sexual experiences, okay? Now I'm talking about how do you know when you're loved, whether it's your son, your daughter, your father, your husband, your sister, your best friend. How do you absolutely know that someone loves you? And it could be a husband or wife. And this is generally what this is for. Now, for some people, they have to see it. It could be a little burnt out rose that's been perfectly because the sun's been burning out on it. It's the middle of summer, but I did it with my ex-girlfriend. I picked it off and handed it to her, and I thought she was going to get pissed off. She started crying, and she gave me the biggest hug in the world. If someone's visual, that doesn't mean they're a money-hungry person, okay? That's a completely separate issue. If someone's truly visual, you could write I love you on a piece of paper and put a little cute smiley face, just a little circle, smile, and 2 dotted eyes. That's it. Crumple it up, hand it to them. They're going to get pissed at first thinking you're giving them garbage. And they go, no, 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 open it up. And when they open it up, if they're truly visual, they will start to cry and they will leap out and they will hug you. If they're not visual, they say, oh, that's nice, that's sweet. They might say, well, at least he's trying. If they're auditory, they absolutely need to hear it in order to know that you absolutely love them. Okay, it's just as simple as like hello, sweetie, or cutie pie. It's those cute little names you have for each other, like Snuggle Bunny, or what's another one? Pookie. That was a little thing me and my high school girlfriend had. Trying to think what else. But even saying I love you, I want to be with you, that makes them feel good because it's auditory. The kinesthetic people, they absolutely need to be held. They have to be touched. You have to hold their hand at the movie. They're going to lean on you at the movie, the baseball game. They need physical contact. That's how they know that they're loved. Now, if you don't like physical contact, if you're not used to hugging 24/7 round the clock, you're not going to like that person. You're going to think like, why are you so clingy? And that nothing hurts a kinesthetic person worse than telling them they're clingy. And by the way, kinesthetic people who need to touch and hug and snuggle, etc., you're not clingy. Clingy is a completely different thing. It's what narcissists do. They try to connect their energy to you. You can be clingy from across the room without being touched. So here's my point about using these two things as examples. It's like these are two very simple things to learn. Okay? And they're very powerful. They will save your marriage. Not only save your marriage, but they will bring that happiness and joy back into the marriage in a very, very intense, powerful way. So now let's talk about money. Okay, so in the last two videos, I talked about how we organize and structure our memories, and not only memories, but the way we view certain people and things and experiences in life. It's not just the people. It could be a strategy on how you race motorcycles, or how you do your work, or how you drive a car. So we have these different categories where we store certain information and we access them depending on what we're looking for. So in the last two videos I talked about, I said, okay, think of a person that you absolutely trust, someone that you just trust and you've always trusted, or you really, really trust this person. It could be grandpa, dad, your best friend, best buddy, whatever. And I'm like, okay, so where is that unconscious picture? Now, a lot of people are like, oh, I don't get unconscious pictures. Yes, you do. Everybody does. You're just not conscious of it. So another way of saying that is you might notice an auditory voice or sound coming from a certain location in front of you. So I like to stick to pictures to keep it simple. So you could take that sound or someone's voice and turn that into an image of them and notice where that's at. So then in the last two videos, I said, now think of someone you don't trust, okay? And you might notice where that location is. Where is that image? See, one might be, again, it's different for everyone. We all organize our filing cabinets in different ways. So you might have an image of someone you don't trust down and to the left, and the person you trust might be a little bit up, maybe like 8 inches or 12 inches up, and then over to the right, and it's bigger, it's brighter, it's shinier, and it's closer to you, where the people you don't trust is down to the left and it's kind of pushed away. It's a little bit smaller and darker of an image in black and white. So, but it depends. It's all of this stuff is different depending on the way that you organize it. Now, if you're not making a lot of money, or maybe you were and it went down. So when you deal with narcissist abuse, like it can cause you to feel like you're unworthy, like you're a fraud, like you're a, what's the thing? Not fake, but the one I said in the last video. It's when you're really good at doing something, but you don't think you are. It's something narcissists do to you. Oh, you're no good. Even if you just like in my story, I won a state championship in boxing, and then the very next day, my brother's trying to convince me I'm no good. I'm so bad that I should just quit. It's called imposter syndrome, okay? It's when you're actually really good, or at least above average, so you're definitely good, maybe not the best in the world, but you're good at this, right? But you think you're one of the worst in the world, one of the worst people at it in the world. Like, I went through that for years, but the thing is, it made me push myself so much harder, and because of that, I started winning a lot. It's a very bad strategy because it's exhausting. It's like you're fighting against this belief inside, and man, it's just, you don't want to do it that way. You want to be motivated and inspired and know how good you actually are. That will push you a lot faster, better, and much more fluidly. Now, all of this is organized by your okay, the images you make. Like, so in one of the videos, might have been the last one, might have been the one before that, but I talked about how, like, in the pickup artist community, they did this real nasty trick, like really nasty trick, where they get the girl to talk about her boyfriend, and let's say, you remember the unconscious pictures I was talking about, like where you organize things, different filing cabinets. So let's say she looks over to the right about where her shoulder and her upper arm is, and it's just in front of her by about 12 inches or so, and she's looking at this area, so we'll call this a little picture area, and she's talking about him. Oh, my boyfriend, oh, I love him, and she's talking lovingly into the picture. And so if you're trained in this stuff, you can look at, oh, that's where she keeps good memories of her boyfriend. So whenever she thinks about her boyfriend, that's where she looks every time. So all this guy has to do, or person, is look at that area and say, oh, your boyfriend. Yeah. And then what they could do, they could talk about negative stuff, not even mentioning his name, but looking at that space and talking into that space. So again, about 12 inches in front of her and over to the right, etc., about the height of her upper arm. And what happens is that this is what I call corrodes or malfunctions that, part of the system. And all of a sudden, whenever she goes to access her boyfriend, it makes her feel bad because this guy's boring. Oh, this is boring. When I went into this game, it was a real boring game. And they look and point their mouth towards it, and their voice volume goes into that. And all of a sudden, she loses interest in her boyfriend. Here's the deal. A lot of you, when you fell in love with someone and you guys both were in deep, deep love, it was the people around you that started playing these games. This is what narcissists do. This is what they learn at a very young age. They start figuring this stuff out. So here you were madly in love with someone, and next thing you know, a few weeks later, a month later, you just can't stand to be around them, and you feel bad because your heart still loves them, but you don't love them like the other part of you. And all of a sudden, there's this confusion, and you cry, and you tell them, I don't know why, because what the narcissist did was extremely sneaky and just evil. What I'm trying to point out to you guys, there are things that narcissists have done to you that have absolutely destroyed your relationships, and you didn't even know it was happening. And you didn't even know who was doing it while they were doing it to you. I mean, you talked to them, you knew who you were talking to, but you had no idea what they were doing. I love it when narcissists think that I'm naive and I'm not aware of this stuff. I'm trained in this stuff. I'm trained to see this stuff. This is what I do. No, I don't teach people to do mean things, but I teach people how to change this stuff, okay? So I'm going to go back to something I said earlier in this video, but not yet, because I want to go on to the third subject, money. Now, we do the same thing with money. We organize and categorize these unconscious pictures in different areas. So for making money, you might have these pictures in front of you, slightly to the right, just right of center, and they're square, maybe rectangle up and down, up from top to bottom, not left to right. And it has a strong frame around it, and this is where you access thoughts about money. So one of the ways the narcissist can do to you, which, the whole boyfriend-girlfriend thing with the narcissist going, oh, your boyfriend, oh, negative, 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 into that spot. They can do this with money to where, like, you can't stand money. Money just gives you a bad feeling. Whereas when you're a kid, like, you used to make money in a paper out and you had fun and you felt good about it. It was rewarding and you felt good working hard, and you had good feelings about working. Working hard was good. Making money was good, and doing a good deed was good. But then all of a sudden, the narcissist started, money's the root of all evil, which, by the way, is a lie. And I'm sure I've talked about this a lot, and I'm sure you're very aware of that. It says the love of money, meaning you put it above God, above your happiness, above love, above health, above everything. And also you pray to Magog, or I think I'm saying that name wrong now. Got to re-Google that. But there's a certain entity, a god of money or something, like you pray. Now, none of us, I've never done that. I've never even heard of that until recently. But think about that. They time this stuff on purpose. They mean, oh yeah, I got a job and I'm making this much money. Like, well, you know that money's the root of all evil, right? And then they're saying it in that image, the unconscious image that is in front of you just to the right, or wherever you store it. Let's just say in front of you just to the right in a rectangular, and they notice that and they start saying, money's the root of all evil, and they put it into that area where you make money. And next time they're like, man, you sound like you're a real greedy guy, as they're looking at that image, speaking into the image, you this, and they do all this negative stuff. And all of a sudden, your beliefs around money being this positive, rewarding thing, you do work, like this is the deal. They said, if you do this, we'll pay you this amount of money. And you said, yeah, I agree to that. And it felt really good. And when you got paid, that felt good too. But as you got older, all of a sudden making money and getting paid, you felt guilty for I mean, I had a job where I did carpet. It's hard labor. And I literally felt guilty, and they were paying me rock bottom, below the wage that I was supposed to start at, and I still felt guilty, like I shouldn't have got paid that much money, which was almost nothing. It was ridiculous. It was just above minimum wage. When I say just above, I'm talking like 75 cents above minimum wage, and I was doing hard labor. And when I got paid, I just remember looking at the boss like I felt like I didn't deserve this, no matter how hard I worked. So some of you, and I was one of them, I used to feel that I didn't deserve to get paid. And another one was, how do I explain this? The belief was essentially, I could only make money doing what I didn't like to do because it was misery. If it was misery, then I earned it. Now, I've had jobs where it was easy, it was fun, it was with a group of people, it was at parties, blah, 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 like making balloons and doing all this, putting out food. And it was super easy, it was super fun. And I got paid $400, and I'm like, $400 for this? Like, I felt so guilty. I'm like, and I even told her, oh, you're not going to pay me for this, man. It was for your kid's party. And I go, Michael, you were here for 8 hours just constantly working. And I kind of look back like I did. It was nonstop, but I enjoyed it so much. I felt like I didn't deserve to get paid because I was convinced that making money was misery. And if you're not miserable, if you're not doing something that makes you miserable, then you didn't earn it and you don't deserve it. Do you have any beliefs like this? Or maybe money brings up fear. Now, for a lot of people, money brings up a lot of fear. Now, it's not always necessary from narcissists. Something could have happened when you were a kid. You might have got hurt like somebody could have been handing you money and you burned your finger with a match or something at the same time, and you connected that pain to money. So it might actually bring up an unconscious fear of pain, and you don't even remember that consciously. All you know is money brings up this feeling. We can disconnect that or unattach that, and then connect money to feeling good, like really good. Like for me, there was a very specific memory when I had my first paper out. I'd been doing it probably for 4 or 5 weeks, and I remember this lady left me a big tip. Now back then it was $5. Now back then in 1977 or whatever it was, for a kid, that was a lot of money from one person because you had like 30 or 40 people on your route leaving $2, $3, $5. But I remember, I think it was even more than that. And she left me some candy and all I know is like, man, I felt really good because she wanted her paper put in between the door and the screen a certain way. And if you didn't do it, it upset her. And I got to the point where I did it perfect every single time. And it made her really happy. And I felt good about doing that, taking the extra effort to make sure I did it right. And when she paid me, I felt really good about making that money. So now what we can do, so now let's say that image is in a certain location, just by looking in the area. Like right now, I'm just like my body, my solar plexus, my belly, my heart, I feel really good just looking at it. You can take those negative images and you can shift them into that good feeling space, and all of a sudden, making money feels good. All of a sudden, being in a relationship feels good. All of a sudden, talking to your wife feels good. All of a sudden, going to work feels good. You can do this with anything in your life. You can do this with things that used to feel like drudgery. You could actually take drudgery and put it in the submodalities, the location where things make you feel really, really good. This is what fighters and wrestlers and football players do. All of a sudden that pain, like lifting weights, like powerlifting, like you're just really like burning your muscles up and tearing the muscle, that pain gets connected to pleasure. All right, let's do the money thing. I want you to think of a time in the past when you made money, you got paid, and you felt really, really good about getting paid. Like my memory, one of my memories was that paper route and that day when I picked up that money. that she had left for me, it just made me feel really, really good. Like she was rewarding me for doing a good job. So now what you can do is think of a time when you made money, maybe recently, like you might be at a point where like, I don't feel good about making money. It makes me feel bad, whatever. Okay. Like I feel fear, I feel whatever. And I want you to notice where that image is at. Now think about getting paid when you feel bad or making money. And notice where that image is coming from or where it's located. Okay. And not only that, but notice the difference between the two and where they're located, the distance away from you, and notice if one is brighter and one is maybe dimmer, a lot dimmer, a little bit dimmer. Notice which one has more colors, or I should say is more colorful. Notice which one isn't as colorful. And then notice, and sometimes they might be the same in some of these scenarios. They're not always different every piece of this. And notice if they both have a frame, or maybe one has a frame and the other one doesn't. It's panoramic. And notice which one's smaller, which one's larger. Just notice those things. So for now, just notice the good feeling one where you made money and you felt really good about it. It just, even physically, your body kind of relaxed. You felt good. It was a good experience. And notice the submodalities, meaning like what location is it at? How big is it? Is it bright? Is it dim? Is it shiny? Is it colorful? Like notice like those aspects of that image. Then look at the other image and notice that one. Okay? What you can do is you can change the colors of the dim one and match it to the other one that feels good. Make it exactly the same size. If the good one has a frame, put a frame on the bad one. Same color, same brightness, same distance. Make it the same distance. If this one's farther away, pull it forward in the same distance. What you can also do is now shift it into the same location and make it exactly every submodality exactly like the good feeling picture, and notice how it begins to shift. Now obviously I'm not there, and you can't ask me questions, or I may not notice like, oh, actually you didn't do that right, because you might say, well, in the negative picture there's someone yelling at me. It's like, well, is that in the, because you're like, well, it's not working, Mike. I'm like, well, what do you mean it's not working? It still makes me feel bad. Well, do you have someone yelling at you in the good picture? Well, no, of course not. Well, then take that person out. Okay, so there's some nuances, but they're really simple actually, especially for once you're like someone like me to work with you. So if this exercise didn't work really, really well for you, that's okay. There's a nuance here and there that we didn't quite pick up. Now in person, I absolutely can pick up on it. It's actually really simple once you know what you're doing. The purpose of this entire video is one thing. Number one, you can absolutely change your life in every area. You can take something that you really wanted, like starting a business, making money, but it hurt, you felt like I can't do it, it's impossible. All those things is submodality shifts and location changes. That's all it is. See, you think it's this big drama thing because you have to go to therapy for 30 freaking... No, I'm telling you, it's not. It's just a matter of figuring out where what is. And sometimes it's a process of going, okay, he came in today, here's what we noticed, then let's come the next time. And we have to do an unraveling of a couple things. So healing this thing opens the door to this thing. Now we heal this, now we go to this. So it can be a process, but it's not some 10-year freaking process. For each issue, it could be as little as 3 to 7 sessions. Sometimes for each individual issue, it could be 1, 2, or 3 sessions, and boom, we're done. Now, I don't necessarily mean done with everything, but now you got this piece out of the way. Now we can go to the real piece that you're looking to fix. Okay, so you might have a couple things that you got to clear before you get to the next thing, and then you might get past that, and then you get to the real nugget. Now here's the thing that I mentioned twice about how there's something I said earlier on in this video and how I wanted to come back to it. So like I was talking about the guy earlier in the video about he's an NLP trainer, but he's just not aware of narcissist abuse. Yet everything he was describing is like, oh, well, this, and that, and that's like all narcissist abuse. And he talks about, hey, here's how I changed my life. I changed my submodalities. I did this and this and that. But here's the problem. With people that are not aware of that, it'll come right back. And here's what I mean. You could move to the other side of the country, the other side of the world, And then you bump into a narcissist who knows how to do this stuff, and they reverse it, okay? So then you're back at square one and you're feeling bad again. Like, okay, well, I got to go back to therapy again. And it becomes this yo-yo show. And a lot of people, NLP practitioners, like, I just don't get it. Like, they were doing so well for like 3 months or 6 months, and all of a sudden, boom, they're back to square one. Like, this doesn't make any sense. It's because you have to understand narcissist abuse, and on some level, they figured this stuff out. So you get the person back up on track, you reorganize their memories and their images, etc., and boom, they're doing good. But again, now here's the deal though. After listening to this video alone, you're aware of it. So here's what you start to realize, like, man, if I'm talking to someone, they start talking crap, like when I'm talking, and they ask me to talk about my husband or my boyfriend, and all of a sudden they start going, oh, your boyfriend, and all this, and they just negative, and they're looking at, and you might even become conscious, like, wow, I actually look in a certain direction whenever I talk about this person I really love. And then you could talk, and now you're going to be like, wow, that person's actually looking right at that space, and he's being real negative. So boom, just by listening to this one video or the last video, the video before that, you're very aware of it, and all of a sudden you've got another tool, and you can look at someone like that, like, get the F away from me. Like, whoa, what did I do? Not much, idiot. And you just start calling them names. Say, not much, stupid. Just get the F out of here. I know what you're doing. Like, what are you talking about? I know exactly what you're doing. Or better yet, what I'll do is I'll ask them, like, hey, tell me about someone you're really close to, someone you love, your puppy, your dog, your friend, your whatever, and I'll just do the same thing back. And they might start feeling bad, not thinking that other people know how to do this. And I'll just look at them, and they'll kind of look at me, and I'll make it really obvious. And they'll be like, oh shit, yep, I caught you. I was watching you the whole time. By the way, if you guys haven't caught on, what I just said was on purpose for certain people to hear. My videos reveal stuff that people had done to me that didn't realize I was watching them the whole time. And now they're going, oh shit, he knows. Yes. So every now and then I throw stuff in like that, and you guys may just think I'm talking normal. The people who have done stuff, the narcissists, they know that I'm talking to them. The one thing that a lot of empaths do, and I'm definitely one of them, I will just watch people while they're doing something, and I won't say a word. Another thing I do along with that, I let them dig themselves into a deeper and deeper and deeper ditch, and I make mental notes, and when it's time to call them on their shit, they're just like, because what narcissists do, if you just catch them like one time, the first time, they'll like, oh no, you're paranoid, oh you're this, oh you're just, you're overthinking and all it. What I do though is I get all this evidence, and then I unleash it on them. Then they're like, oh shit, you caught me. Like, yep, sure did. Remember, people, you can live a happy and not crappy life. Alright guys, that's it for now. God bless you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something. If you want to work with me and you want to shift your beliefs, your limiting beliefs, and open the doorway to... See, here's the thing. It takes away more and more of the resistance, your internal resistance. And all of a sudden life starts to flow better. It becomes a little bit easier, a little bit funner, a little bit lighter, a little bit more energized, and things just start getting better. You become more motivated, you become more inspired, you become happy again, and you start going after life. So smash anything that's holding you back from happiness, love, success, and money. God bless you guys. I'll see you in the next video. If you like this video, please click the subscribe button, click the like button, go ahead and make a comment, and as always, you can go ahead and make a donation. There's a PayPal link right there in the description box. God bless you guys. Bye.